this is where the fun begins.
Yes, Texas is a rival.
I have a river of Kool-Aid for basketball.
There you go.
It's time to step inside the hog pen.
Well, all right, everybody. Here we are, back again. DMad and MC, your boy. How we doing tonight, DMad?
Man, just woke up, so we're ready to we're ready to something it and get it.
Yeah, that night shift / graveyard shift can be a beast at times.
Oh yeah, I mean it pays the bills. Let me tell you.
Absolutely. I mean, we do what we got to do to pay those bills. So, man, I'm just gonna jump right into it, man. Everybody's doing good. Everybody's happy, and put Vanderbilt went full Michael Irvin BTA on them. But the big question is, are you ready for the White Death Snowpocalypse?
I'm down here in Houston right now, so
oh, you're out of the mix then. Yeah, I forgot you're in Houston.
I'll be driving up there tonight, and I'll be getting ready for it for sure.
Well, you'll be out a little bit ahead of it by being being down there and being able to get home before it hits. But apparently, man, it's going to get pretty bad later on. I don't know. We'll see.
And you ask 10 different weathermen something, they'll give you 10 different answers.
Yeah,
that's kind of where I stand on it.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where we're at. I follow several of those meteorologists and everything, in addition to the local one here, and I mean it's all over the board, man. It's like, well, we think this is going to happen, So
it's so frustrating too, because you never really get a legitimate answer on what they think is actually going to happen.
Have you done your panic buying though? Do you have your supplies for French toast, your milk, bread, and eggs?
I don't think I do, actually. I'm gonna stop at Walmart in the morning and just I'm gonna buy I almost said a crap ton of the soups. We're a Campbell's soup household at my house. We got a propane heater, like propane stove. So if power does go out, we'll at least have something.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, and I was looking around tonight. We've gotten a few things that we needed to pick up, but we've got a bunch of frozen vegetables and stuff that we'll get the Instapot out. We'll put some chicken broth in it, put the veggies in it, brown some meat, and then we're good to go.
Shout out my mom.
Yeah, no doubt. You think she's ready? You think she's ready for the?
I don't know if they're getting anything over there in Oklahoma City.
Okay. Well, I think it's moving in from that way, but I don't know how far north it's going to be before it hit Arkansas. So,
right.
Anyway, I'm interested to see how this is going to affect. Is LSU coming to town early? Because they're supposed to play. Arkansas and LSU are supposed to play Saturday night, and if this White Death comes in over the next 48 hours, first off, are they going to be able to get everybody there to have a game? And if they do, is there going to be more? Is it going to look like a COVID game, basically?
Honestly, they've started doing the, hey, if you can't show up, send your tickets to this. I saw that just before coming on. And so I'm guessing they're expecting not very many people to show up Saturday.
Well, I mean, because everything they're calling for, and with this game, I mean, this is the one time where it would benefit you to have the 11 a.m. tip-off rather than the 7:30. And, of course, in true Arkansas fashion, when the Yeti weather is coming in, we're going to get the nighttime tip off when nobody can get there. So,
yeah,
because Arkansas,
2 to 3 inches of sleet tomorrow, then snow.
Whew, man! I got a high school game tomorrow night, and they've actually moved up the tip off time. We were supposed to start at 6. Now we're going to start at 4. just to get everything done and make sure everybody's home and everything before everything starts. But I don't think it's supposed to start here till like somewhere between 10 o'clock and midnight. So I think we'll all be fine. We'll all get through it.
Mom, to answer your question, I believe that is right. I think we're playing OU at OU. That'd be something that you take the Twins to.
Yes, the 27th. They are. I actually had the schedule pulled up here because we'll get into it here in a little bit over the next 4 or 5 games. The next game after Saturday is at Norman on the 27th. 6 o'clock tip off for that one. So
that'd be something to take the Twins to. Just FYI.
And Oklahoma is currently sitting in last place in the SEC, so might be quite a few Hog fans make that trip over. How far is that from Fayetteville to Norman? How far is that?
I kind of put Norman in the thinking of it's like just southwest or southeast of Oklahoma City. I'm not sure exactly by how far. Let me Google that. But I think it would be around like 3 to 4 hours if I had to guess.
Okay, that's not terrible. I know Tulsa's 2 hours, but I mean 3.5, 4 hours to go from Fayetteville to Norman, and probably be able to get tickets cheaper than you could get them at Bud Walton Arena. I mean, I would probably be all over that. So,
I didn't know Derek's coming in.
There you go.
Look at that.
Well, now, all right, Mama, if you go, you have to call the Hogs loud for us. Just saying.
Louder.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, that's a good one.
It says it's 3.5 hours from Fayetteville to Norman.
Okay, well, that's not bad.
And I was actually correct. It's just south of, not southeast, but it's south of Oklahoma City. Look at me go.
Check out the big brain on DMad.
Working early this morning.
Yeah, well, hey, there you go. And I guess it is technically your morning, right?
Yeah, I literally just got out of bed.
Wow. Getting out of bed. I mean, that's what he does for the show, y'all. This man's cutting his sleep short so he can come and do the show with me tonight. And I absolutely appreciate it, because it was going to be an interesting show if I was going to be in here all by myself. I was about to start sending out emergency texts to some of my buddies and being like, "Hey man, can you jump on here for like 5 or 10 minutes with me?" But did you get to watch the Vanderbilt game or any of the highlights of it?
I did, and man, this team is so Jekyll and Hyde sometimes, man.
Yeah, but you know what though? It kind of seems to be that way across the board in the SEC, because it seems like teams are dominating at home, and then, because we go down to Auburn and just get completely skull drug, they turn around the next game out and go to Missouri, and Missouri does to them what they did to us. Same thing happened at Georgia. I mean, it's just, and then, Vanderbilt's had some really good wins too, but they just run into a buzzsaw the other night. I mean, we did to them what Georgia and Auburn have done to us. So I think it's not just us. I think it's across the board.
That might be true. The only exception to that would be Texas A&M and Florida. They're both standing on top of the SEC right now. And, everybody was giving Florida crap earlier this year about Boogie and everything. But, I mean, they're still – last I checked, we're 5-1 in the SEC right now.
Mm-hmm. They're 5-1. I think A&M's 4-1. I think is where we're at. I'm pulling up the standings right now. But speaking of Boogie, I'm glad you brought him up, man. How about that? He goes and he cuts his dreads, and he can see a little better on the floor, and suddenly he's playing like Boogie Fland.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've never had a problem with Boogie. I
don't have a problem with him at all. I mean, I think he's a hell of a player. Now, I will say this. I think we upgraded.
Yeah, and it was just one of those things where Boogie has the talent, but it was just he wasn't rounded. He was a good one-on-one player, but like running an offense with him was not really working, and that's why we struggled a lot coming out of the gate.
Well, and the plan with him the whole time was to be one and done. It was just nobody anticipated him breaking his wrist or messing up ligaments, whatever it was he did, and cause him to miss the majority of the SEC season. But I will always think about this with Boogie Fland. He could have easily, called it right wrist management and just shut down his season at that point. And he didn't. The guy come back. He tried to give it his all. and you know, he had a few key plays there when it come down time in the SEC tournament, and then also in the NCAA. So that's how I'm going to remember Boogie Fland, is coming back when he didn't have to because he wanted to help contribute.
I'm right there with you on that, because there's being a 5-star player and a top 15 recruit.
Yeah.
These guys, they have a sense of everything being given to them, and they can kind of dictate their actions. And to be a guy that's a good enough guy to sit there and say, "Hey, man, I signed on to this team for whatever how many games that we played,
right?
And so I'm gonna try to play as many games as possible."
Yeah,
just does nothing but show good character with him.
Yeah, I tip my hat to that dude, because he didn't have to do that, man. He could have very easily just said, you know what, I'm going to shut things down. I'm going to prep for the draft,
my next school.
Yeah, and just because I mean the whole point initially was for him to go to the draft, and when that didn't happen, you know, people were like, well, okay, so what's the deal here? What are we going to do? And, you know, my man just come out and took care of business and did what he had to do. And I tell you what, if in about 2 weeks, I think, when Arkansas and Florida match up, Boogie versus Acuff is going to be all kinds of fun.
Yeah,
that is, I cannot wait for that. I'm looking forward to it. It is going to be so much fun.
Just don't boo him. Don't boo Boogie.
Well, we go to Florida, I think.
I thought it was home, but I guess I'm wrong.
Let's see. So it is February 28th. So it's a little more than 2 weeks out. It's about 4 weeks out. And we go back to Gainesville yet again.
Oh, okay. Well, so I just, guys, don't take it out on Boogie.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly with that. You know, it's just this is just the world we're in now, man. You're not going to have guys. DJ Wagner is the last of a dying breed. He's the last of a guy that's going to spend multiple years at one location. So,
speaking of, do you think Devo Davis still has any eligibility, and can we get him back?
I was looking more at like Moses Kingsley, because I think we need a big more than we need another guard. And Moses is kind of that banger, you know, that you need.
Is he still in shape?
Well, I mean, is this dude that's coming from Alabama that has been a pro for the last 2 years? I mean, you know, is he? I mean, dude averaged 6 points a game. What are you doing bringing him back?
Okay, what about Mekhi Mitchell?
Now, there's one. Okay, that could work.
Yeah,
because the way Mekhi was, you know, he could score a little bit, but he was mainly a rebounder and a defender, and that's what I feel like we need more of. You know,
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at the rebounder.
Rebounder, yeah. I put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable. So
there you go.
But no, man, I mean, Mekhi Mitchell's a perfect example of somebody you could bring back. I made a post on Facebook earlier today. I'm like, hey, Bobby Portis has got 2 years of eligibility left. Could we get an Arkansas judge to throw out some kind of ridiculous ruling or whatever and get him to come back just in time for SEC tournament and NCAA tournament? Yeah. Because I mean, this whole thing, man, and that judge is I don't know if you saw this or not, but that judge that made that ruling on the Alabama player is listed as like a high-dollar booster for their version of the Razorback Foundation.
You're telling me that he's not impartial?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's about like saying I'm not impartial.
Right.
So, yeah, man, unfortunately, this is just where we're at now. The college game is nothing more than kind of pro ball without guardrails.
You know what's crazy? Like, if you take it back 10 years ago, what was the biggest fear of anything? Is if the NCAA starts sniffing around your campus.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the NCAA is so scared, they look down and see their shadow and jump.
Well, and they've got quite the losing streak going on court cases right now, because back in the summer, you know, the last 2 or 3 years, I've gone to this workshop, for my day job, that takes place on the campus at University of Kentucky. Well, every year I sign up for one of the sessions that talks about the future of collegiate athletics and the NCAA. And every year there's something a little bit different. And it's the same guy that does the presentation every year. And he does an excellent job. If I could remember his name, I'd shout him out, because that's the most interesting class that I had for the entire week that I was there. But he talks about now that because they have lost so many cases in a row, the NCAA is a little gun shy about doing anything that's going to cause them to have to go to court. So, was that me or you? Because things got a little fuzzy for me there. I don't know what happened, but I don't think I just lost DMad. But what he was talking about was they've lost so many cases in a row that they, unless something is just extremely outrageous, they're not going to try to do anything to upset the apple cart, so to speak, because they don't want to go back to court, get in litigation again, and lose yet another case. So, all right, let me see if I can get DMad back in here. Are you good now?
All right, sorry, my headset was bugging out again.
Oh, you're good, brother. You're good. But yeah, all I was saying was the guy that did the class, he said that the NCAA is kind of gun shy about doing anything that's going to upset the apple cart. So that it's just kind of, guns blazing, no rules, no regulations, pure anarchy, because they don't want to lose yet another lawsuit. And they're already spending millions and millions and millions on all these court cases, that it's just kind of like, okay, y'all want the free for all? Here you go. But that's where we're at. We've got no guardrails. Tampering is going on. I mean, you see this in the portal about some of these football guys that now the schools are trying to sue them because they signed multi-year NIL deals, and they're trying to hold them to them instead of letting them go to the portal. And excuse me, I just don't know, man. It's just, Saban, for all of his warts, that, for doing some things that might have been a little shady at the time, he's the one that kind of come out. He and Krzyzewski and Roy Williams and a lot of these guys that retired are the ones that come out and said, be careful what you wish for here, because you're going to end up ruining the game. And from that side of it, I think they were spot on. Now, from the entertainment side, I don't know that it gets any more entertaining than what we saw Monday night with the national championship.
Absolutely, though, and I think that they got the perfect amount in there. I don't think that Notre Dame was one of the best 12 teams this year.
Yeah.
I don't think they deserved a shot at it. And we figured out that, Miami was the last team to get in.
Mm-hmm.
And they just happened to get in because, their ACC counterpart, Virginia, absolutely Amber Hearded a bed. And,
that's a good way to put
it. And they took the ACC's bid away because they just didn't win in the championship. Shout out Duke. And if Virginia would have won, it would have had Virginia would have been in the playoffs, and who knows what would have happened then, because there's absolutely no telling what would have happened. And if you want to talk about the 12 best teams, well, we don't need to talk about record. We need to talk about play on the field and who you've played against. Because I don't care if you beat every team 50-0, like Notre Dame did. It also
they didn't play
matters
anybody.
who you play.
Yeah. Who is the? I got into a debate with some guys on another forum about that. They were all pro Notre Dame, saying Notre Dame should have been there, and I just simply asked one question. I was like, "Who's Notre Dame's quality win? Who was their quality win in the year? Was it
Arkansas?
Was it a mid USC team? I mean, who did they beat that is worthy enough that you could look at that and say, okay, yeah, that's a really good win? It certainly wasn't Arkansas. I mean,
if you look at take USC's schedule, they had a really easy Big Ten schedule too. Like I told you about it a couple weeks ago. They have a certain way of scheduling in the Big Ten where they have the top 4 teams in the Big Ten are all just going to play nobodies throughout the year.
Yeah.
You'll have Ohio State.
Looks like we got a little bit of Texas technical difficulties there DMad's feed, but I'm with him 100% on what he's talking about there. But anyway, we kind of got off in the weeds a little bit there. I'm going to try to reel us back in and talk a little more Hog hoops, because that's the story right now. We talked about, will there be anybody at the game on Saturday? Well, let's back up and let's talk about the absolute dismantling of Vanderbilt. 93-68. Number 20 Arkansas just absolutely destroys 15th ranked Vandy. And Vandy was above them, not only in like the AP and the coaches poll, but also in Ken Palm and all that, whatever these little power polls are that everybody looks at too. So it's a big win, man. I mean, you come out and you set the tone early. A couple of key stats that kind of stuck out to me: 25 assists as a team, only 7 turnovers, and they out-rebounded Vanderbilt by 12, 39-27, a plus 12 on the boards. Now, some of that was because of the strategy that Vanderbilt put in place early on to try to offset Arkansas's fast break points, whereas Vanderbilt was almost voluntarily going one and done on the offensive end, because they started out the game sending 3 guys back. As soon as the shot went up for Vanderbilt, you saw 3 guys go back and try to shut down the fast break points. And what it did was it gave them absolutely no chance at offensive rebounds. So Arkansas is going to dominate on that end, and it still didn't stop the fast break points. Arkansas had a ton of fast break points in the first half. Vanderbilt shoots something like 21-22% early on. I think I got those stats here. First half field goal percentage, they ended up shooting 39%, which is not terrible, because they hit a bunch of shots in the last 10 minutes of the first half. First 10 minutes of the first half, they were like 3 out of 15 or 3 out of 18 from the field. And you get in that big of a hole early, kind of like what Arkansas's done on their last 2 Saturday games. Difficult to climb your way out of that, and Vanderbilt just didn't have the horses to pull that out. So Arkansas has 5 or 6 guys that show up in double digits, and I gotta show this screen share of this picture, because this was just absolutely phenomenal, and it kind of sums up the way the game went overall. Malik Thomas, what can you say about the kid? He's if it wasn't for Darius Acuff, he would be getting all the attention in the world right now from all the Razorback fans. But because Acuff is just ridiculous, I mean, Malik Thomas is kind of taking a back seat. And you look at this, I mean, he pulled the Steph Curry. I mean, how awesome was that he pulled the Steph Curry. He shot the ball, and you can see from the picture there, the ball is still midair, and he's already turned around with, kind of celebrating with the fans that he's going to hit the shot. I mean, it's just that kind of stuff. I'm sorry, I've never been good enough to pull that kind of thing off, and I love it, man. I love it. I don't know if Cal was real happy with it or not, but he pulled it off. He made the shot. I'm thankful that he did not do this. The dude from the Lakers, Swaggy P or whatever his name is, where he did that, turn around, put his hands up like this, and then he bricked the 3. So anyway, Hogs get the big win. Got LSU Saturday at home. Wild card, man. LSU's towards the bottom of the conference, but at the same time, you're also looking at the crazy weather situation. There may not be 1,000 people there. I don't know. But we're going to step aside for break, see if we can't get DMad back in here, and we'll talk a little bit more about this LSU game coming up. Y'all stick around. Meeks Design is your one-stop shop for custom clothing with a personal touch. At Meeks Design, we can help you tell your story through your wardrobe. Your imagination on a hat, shirt, pullover, or nearly anything wearable. And while you're picking out some custom clothing, check out the one-of-a-kind handmade soaps from the Bobcat Soap Company. Find us on Facebook and let us create custom swag just for you at Meeks Design.
Hey, Hog fanatics. We at Inside the Hog Pen are thrilled to announce that SeatGeek is now a sponsor. As brand ambassadors, we're excited to share SeatGeek as a ticket app that simplifies the ticket buying process for all your favorite events. They provide a 0 to 10 score for each ticket, with green indicating a good deal and red indicating a not-so-good deal. As a special offer, Hawg fanatics can get $20 off their first ticket purchase by using the code INSIDEHOGPEN. Check out our socials for the link, and remember to use the code INSIDEHOGPEN.
Attention Razorback fans and local businesses. Are you ready to reach the most passionate Arkansas sports fans out there? Introducing Inside the Hog Pen, not your normal Razorback talk show. We're fans first and don't try to hide it. No agendas, no propaganda. At Inside the Hog Pen, we call it like we see it. And now we're looking for sponsors to join the team. This is your chance to put your brand in front of thousands of loyal Razorback fans who live and breathe Arkansas sports. From small businesses to major brands, we have sponsorship packages tailored just for you. So let's grow together and make Inside the Hog Pen bigger and better. Don't miss out. Call 501-416-4331 or email us today at insidethehogpen@gmail.com and become a proud sponsor of Inside the Hog Pen.
It's time to step back inside the hog pen to the Meeks Design Studios.
I figured out as soon as
There you see we got our boy DMad back. Welcome back, man. All right. Back here on Inside the Hog Pen. Appreciate y'all tuning in with us tonight. Glad to have DMad back with me. It gets kind of weird when I'm sitting there kind of talking to myself. So always good to have somebody back in the mix with me. So what do you see happening with this LSU game Saturday, man? I mean, because I was talking about before the break, it's kind of a wild card because you may not have 1,000 people there.
Yeah, I'm gonna see a lot of rim hanging again. I feel like
I hope.
There's no way I feel like Arkansas goes in there and lays an egg. You know, I'm hoping that they can put two games together because right now they haven't been able to. The problem being, just lack of focus. That's what my opinion is. It's just lack of focus on a lot of fronts, and you can do that every now and then. But if you do it twice in a year, then Cal's really going to get on your butt about it.
The one thing I've noticed that is the common denominator between the two road games where, like you said, we just completely laid an egg was we come out of the gate trying to shoot 3-pointers right away rather than trying to do what we do best, which is driving to the hole and either getting fouled or driving and kicking and then creating the good ball movement. If you look at the Auburn game and the Georgia game both, you see early on, especially in both those games, you see a lot of standing around, no movement by the players away from the ball. The ball movement is not much. You're seeing way too much dribbling. So I think what they're going to have to do is treat it more like they do with these home games. I mean, continue to do what you're doing at home games, but they got to find a way to take this on the road, man. Because you can't continue to win one, lose one, and split the week like that. Especially with this stretch of the next 4 or 5 games is not only extremely crucial, but I'll be honest with you, man. These are all very, very winnable games, and I'm going to pull this schedule up here and pull it up full screen. There you can see. So we talked a little bit about the Oklahoma game coming up after Saturday, not to look past Saturday, but I'm looking down the road a little bit because Saturday is going to be what it's going to be. You can't depend on a big crowd at Bud Walton because likely you might see 3,500 people there if the weather gets as bad as what they say. But you got to go to Oklahoma, which we talked about 3.5 hours away. Should be able to have good representation there. And then Saturday, January 31st, is a game that, I mean, let's face it, everybody's had that one circled since February 1st of last year when we went to Rupp Arena and emptied the house. Yeah, emptied the house with like 4 minutes left in the game. I mean, they were all going to do the bourbon tour. There was a fire drill at Rupp Arena. I mean, it talk about something sweet. I mean, it was just beautiful. It was just a chef's kiss. It was beautiful to watch. So you get Kentucky coming in, and then that next one, I know that they're not. Yeah, I know they're not playing real well, but they have a freshman guard who some people are falsely claiming that he's as good as Darius Acuff. Newsflash: there's not a freshman. Little short dude. He's had a couple games where he scored 30 or more. I don't even remember the guy's name. I watched him light Texas up a couple weeks ago. And the kid can play, but he's no Darius Acuff. He's the one that they gave Freshman of the Week to last week instead of giving it to Darius for 6 weeks in a row.
He did not play very well in that game against. Oh Jesus, I'm losing it. Whatever game they played, I can't remember off the top of my head. He had a bad game. Like he had a bunch of turnovers in that game. When I say a bunch for him, and I'm gonna be honest. I don't think he deserved that freshman of the week that week.
Well, and I didn't either because his stats were, the turnovers were way out of line with what Darius had. But I think they were looking for, honestly, they were looking for anybody to give it to other than giving it to Darius for the 6th week in a row. I mean, at this point, you might as well rename the award the Darius Acuff Award because. Yeah. I mean, you look at some of the company he's with of the guys who had won it 4 times in a row. He set history. He made it 5 times in a row. Ain't nobody else done that. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at Mississippi State's roster right now, trying to get that kid's name. Because
they have a guy named Brandon Walker on their team.
Is he a big, goofy-looking white dude?
He's not white, but he's big and goofy looking for sure.
It must be something about that name then. Yeah, I'm seeing him right now. He's a 6'8" senior from transferring in from Montana State. I did not know Montana State had such a prowess as a as a basketball powerhouse, but here we are.
I think you're talking about Josh Hubbard.
Yeah, Josh Hubbard. He's a junior. I thought he was a freshman, but he's a junior. From Madison, Mississippi. So he's kind of a hometown kid, 6 foot, 190 pounds. He's, arguably close to the same size as Darius Acuff, but I don't see him being, the dude can play, man. He can play.
Let's think about those 22-year-olds.
Yeah. So he had 38 points at Texas on January 3rd. That's the game that I saw. But here's the thing. His career high, season high for assists in a single game is 8. Okay, Darius Acuff has 8 by halftime. So
I will say, what game was it? There was a game that we played. Darius Acuff could have had 20 assists in that game. Like he had like 8 at halftime in one game.
And I'll be honest. I thought he had more than 5 the other night against Vanderbilt because it seemed like every other trip he was throwing an alley-oop to somebody.
Yeah, I think what it was is just like he wasn't on the floor as much against Vanderbilt.
Vandy,
usually because you had DJ Wagner in there and that's another one. DJ Wagner took a big step forward. I don't know if it was like the there's only one ball on the court, but Malik Thomas being at the 2 spot is a pretty good spot. And then having a rotation of DJ Wagner and Darius Acuff, it gives you a lot to think about. And Darius and DJ are both good at passing. DJ had one pass that just like I went, oh my god!
Yeah, and I know exactly the pass you're talking about. Yeah.
He was driving to the hoop and just like going into the air and just dipped it down to, I think it was Carter or somebody.
I think it
was. They just slammed it. It was like, oh my goodness. Like that was an underrated play that nobody really talked about. And like there's players that will do that and just like not even see the guy cutting. And we've got 2 point guards that have good vision and take care of the ball.
Yeah. And it was nice to see DJ kind of find a groove. I mean, yes, he came off the bench. They made a big deal out of the fact that he's played 84 college games. He started in 83 of them. So they made a big deal about him not starting. Honestly, I subscribe to the theory of it doesn't matter who starts the game, it matters who finishes the game. Arkansas has always had a history of guys that come off the bench and make an immediate impact. Look no further than Billy Richmond.
I was about to say the GOAT.
Yeah, Billy Goat, man. When he comes off the bench, the energy changes immediately. And you can go all the way back to one of the first recruits that Nolan signed in Ron Hury out of Memphis. Ron Hury, I'll never forget this story. And if somebody out there has the correct version of it, and I get something wrong, please let me know. But the story always went that he put Hury in the starting lineup as a true freshman, and it just wasn't vibing. He just couldn't get his feet underneath him and everything. So he went to Nolan and said, "Hey, I would prefer to come off the bench." And when he came off the bench, he became a different player, and he became somebody that could come in and have an immediate impact. So you had him that could do that. He played with Todd Day and Lee Mayberry and that bunch. And then you fast forward up to the national championship team. You remember a guy by the name of Alex Dillard that would come in off the bench and just instant offense. There's always one of those guys that comes in. Ant Bell is another one that comes to mind. I mean, I'm going deep in the weeds on that one. He played with, I think Heath and Pell, I believe, were his coaches. Our boy Chuck would remember him, I'm sure. But he was a 3-point guy, and he would come in and immediately hit a 3 or 2, kind of change the complexion of the game. But if DJ could be that guy,
too.
Yes, he was. He's another Memphis product too. So he kind of kept that pipeline going. But if DJ needs to be that guy like Billy Richmond that comes in off the bench and maybe spells Darius and lets him shift over to that 2 guard, and DJ brings the ball up, it changes the game completely, because now Acuff is a completely different threat at the 2 guard than what he is at the 1. And I mean, you saw the best of what this team is capable of in that Vanderbilt game Tuesday night. I mean, it just, everything that could go right went right. And, we see what this team is capable of. And if they can find just some kind of consistency on the road, then this team becomes very different. They become a lot more dangerous, because at that point you can't just take it for granted of, okay, well, they're coming to our place, so they're going to play like trash to open the game. And, we're going to go on a 10 or 12 point run to open the game up.
Look at that comment right there.
Oh, let me get over to it. Oh, y'all are, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I am. I am closer to 50 than I am 40. So I very much remember Ron Hury. So, and it gets even better. Speaking of, we talking about the Billy Goat Walgo. Miss Cindy was actually in class with the GOAT, the all-time leading scorer of Arkansas Razorbacks, the one and only Todd Day, number 10 in your program, number 1 in your heart. So, Todd Day was my first all-time favorite Razorback, and then a guy by the name of Corliss come along, and Todd's got to share that spotlight now. So, I
kind of feel like I gotta say something though.
Okay.
I've been on the student sections for years now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna say, I think the atmosphere at Bud has really taken a step forward.
Yes.
In the past month.
Yes, absolutely.
And I would like to be the first one to acknowledge that I've always been on the student section, but y'all are doing better. Keep it up.
This is the vintage Bud Walton arena of what I'm seeing from the student section now. And, I saw something. They were doing something the other night. Like every time we got a dunk, they had like these little balloons or the thunder sticks or whatever it was they were throwing in the air. I don't care. I thought it was great. Until some of those end up on the floor and we get a technical foul, keep it up. I love the energy.
Yeah.
I love the craziness. It reminds me, yes, go have fun, raise hell, get on the opponent, make it hard for them to do anything. I love the fact that they pick out one guy every game, and every time he touches the ball, it doesn't matter what the score is, they're booing him back to the Stone Age.
Well, you remember that was like a common thing for the longest time, and it just seemed like the past 2-3 years it just kind of fell off.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, bring it back. I don't care. Like, we have the ability to do stuff like this. Like,
yeah,
y'all bring the edge, and that's why this team is so good at home, is partly because they're feeding off the energy that you bring.
So I talked about this a little bit ago and talked about feeding off the energy that the crowd brings. While you were fixing your technical difficulties, I showed the picture of Malik Thomas doing the Steph Curry. Yeah. What's your thought on that? Because I have my thoughts on it too.
Hey man, run it up, bro.
Hey, that's how I feel. Yeah, run it up, Herman. Leave no doubt.
As long as you're not doing that in front of the opposing bench,
yeah,
I'm going to probably be all right with it, because that's when you start to get into what's 25-year-old that went with Muss, Chad something.
Chad Baker, the dude from Auburn. Yeah.
Yeah. When you start doing like that, you start looking like a little bit of, I'm sorry, this is the only way I'm going to describe it. You start looking like a little bit of a dickhead.
Well, and I've got something here I'm gonna pull up, and as long as this does not happen to our boy,
don't pull up the Nick Young.
Yeah, the Swaggy P. Yeah. So if you've seen this, you know what's gonna happen here. There you go. Look, I gotta. It helps if I add it to the scene and take it live here so everybody else can see it too. Nick Young playing for the Lakers.
Look how much enthusiasm the Lakers are playing with.
Turns around, holds out the three, and absolutely clanged it. So I got no problem with Malik doing it because chances are he's good enough. He's going to make the three, and it's good, But the first time you miss one of them, man, you're going to lose all credibility, and you can't do it anymore after that. It's like you're banned. I mean,
I will say, you can see the little bit of like, I don't think this is going in from him by keeping on looking at it.
Yeah,
like there's if you have a no doubt, it's like a no doubt home run. If you pimp a home run and start walking to first, it better go out.
Don't do the Puig. What was his first name? Yasiel Puig. Yeah, he starts pimping it, and it's a can of corn to center field. So
it's thrown out going to second.
Yeah,
but it's one of those things. Like sometimes shooters know, like whenever the perfect shot has gone, and like if you want to take it to 2K, when it's a green. And there's no doubt about it. It's a no doubter. It's going in, and that's what Steph Curry's been known for, is all those no doubters. And he doesn't do it with those questionable ones. He does it with the no doubters. Like my man was spotted up in the corner, ready for it, and as soon as he let it go, he knew that was it.
I thought it was great. The social media buzz that he got after the game. I'm usually not for the whole look at me plays, but I'll make an exception this one time because, I mean, Arkansas has not had a guy that has the kind of confidence that Malik Thomas has probably since Todd Day. Todd Day's the last guy that I remember that was not afraid to let everybody know, hey, I'm Todd freaking Day and I'm here. Malik's kind of got some of that in him.
Did you see his that high school showcase game that he was in?
Yeah.
For everybody that doesn't know, I'll give the context. So this guy was Malik Thomas was mic'd up during this. I think it was OTE showcase game.
Yep.
And it was a bunch of high-ranked players there and Malik Thomas, And so this guy started talking crap to him and he said, hey, you're a fake blank 4-star. And Malik looked at him and said, I've got 5. And then come back later, the guy started to talk again. And Malik looks at him dead in his eyes and said, the schools I don't want to go to wouldn't even offer you.
Yeah.
Like, we might have an all conference like trash talking team.
Yeah.
Between him and the Billy Goat.
It's one of them. You couldn't go to any school I got an offer from. I mean, it's just like, whoo, man. I mean, let you talk about a third-degree burn.
Let him live, bro. Let him live.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's no, I have talked to some friends of mine, and we've talked about Darius Acuff possibly being the best guard to ever play at Arkansas. I've always thought, for me personally, Lee Mayberry was always number one. Corey Beck was number two. That was my top two guys. And the only reason I gave Beck the nod, I'm sorry, gave Mayberry the nod over Beck was that Mayberry, I felt like, was a little more of a scorer. He could take over a game at times. And I never really felt like Corey Beck was that much of a scorer. He did everything great. Like, he was the undoubted leader of that team. He's the head of the
like glue.
Yeah, he's the head of the snake. He was a hell of a defender, but Mayberry just had the edge on him scoring a little bit. And I feel like Darius Acuff has surpassed a 4-year Lee Mayberry in not even a full year yet, because the way this guy plays, he does not play like an 18-year-old freshman. He plays like a 4 or 5 year pro.
And he's not a liability on defense either. Like, it's
no,
not like he just has one side of the court. He's got everything.
No, I mean, he's unbelievable with how smart he is on the floor. He's the one guy. He's the first guy we've had in a long time that when it gets to a situation in a game that Arkansas absolutely has to have a bucket, he's either going to go get the bucket or he's going to find somebody open that can get an easy one to kind of stop that bleeding and be like, okay, that's a huge bucket that we had to have. He's going to find a way to get it one way or the other. And we've not had a guy that was just that dominant. I mean, if you Joe Johnson. I mean, it's just unreal to have a freshman who can do this kind of thing. And I think we can put the SEC Freshman of the Year talk to bed and start talking about, is he actually going to be the SEC Player of the Year, not just a Freshman of the Year, but the Player of the Year?
And to piggyback off of that, look what he did at Tennessee. At one point, it was Darius Acuff versus the entire Tennessee team.
Yeah.
And it still was scoring or assisting. And I'm going to put you on the spot here. Where do you rank Trevin Brazil in Arkansas history?
Oh, man.
Because his highs are very high, but his lows are very low.
That's the thing. That's what's going to hurt him a little bit, because there's not enough consistency from him. Because he'll come out and he will have a game where he just absolutely lays an egg and have like 6 points and 6 rebounds. And then he'll come out the next game, kind of like he did against Vanderbilt, and he'll fill up the stat sheet. I think he had, I just closed my window with the stats, but I think he had 11 points, 8 rebounds, 4 blocks, 6 assists. I mean, he just filled the stat sheet. And when he's locked in, man, he's a matchup nightmare. I mean, he's one of these guys of, what do? Do you put a smaller guy on him and let him take him down and post him up? Or do you bring your big guy out to guard him, and then he's going to drive right by your big man and slam it on their head? I mean,
he had 10 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 steals, and 2 blocks.
There you go. I mean, that's filling up the stat sheet, man. That's a double-double. And
that's a stat sheet stuffer right there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you had 6 guys in double figures in that game, and it's just like, pick your poison. Who's going to burn us? Who's going to? If you're an opponent of Arkansas, you're saying, okay, who do we try to shut down? Who do we let burn us? Obviously, Acuff is at the top of the list of who you want to try to shut down. But when these other guys are locked in and playing like they played the other night, okay, so Acuff gets 15 or 17 instead of his normal 21 or 22. And he only gets 5 assists, but then you got 5 other guys in double figures that are just taking care of business.
Okay, I'm going to give you a couple of years of TB. So when he came out of Missouri, he was shooting 33% from the three-point line. And then his first year at Arkansas, he played 9 games. He shot 38%. And then the last bus year shot 35%, and then last year shot 36% from three. So you're thinking he's probably a mid 35%,
Yeah.
somewhere around there, 35%. This year he's upped it to 40% from 3 point range, and you know as well as I do. As soon as you hit that 40% number, you are considered a knockdown
Yeah.
shooter, and
Well, yeah. And as a
that's
whole, last time I looked, Arkansas was leading the league in
yeah,
3-point percentage as a team.
I believe that's correct. And this is one of those teams where if you start doing this and you start knocking down these 3 pointers, that's why these games have been blowouts, is
Mm-hmm.
because you stretch and stress these teams out that they're going to have to start guarding the 3 point line.
Right.
And then you have Trevin Brazile, Malik Ewan, and Pringle on the inside just dunking on people.
Yeah.
And I'll give you this: when it came to the Georgia game, I think Georgia matches up really well with us.
Mm-hmm.
We really should have gotten Somto out of Kentucky when Cal came over. That was one of his recruits, and
Yeah.
Somto Cyril is a beast, man.
He is, man.
I didn't know he was going to be that good, but he's that good, bro.
I feel
And
like that he is the type of player that if you take him and let's just say you swap him for Nick Pringle, okay, you take Pringle out of the mix, you put Surreal into the mix, Arkansas immediately jumps from being a dark horse to go to the Final Four to one of the favorites because he's that good. And that is that dominant middleman who can just wreak havoc on both ends of the floor. That's the only thing I see this team missing.
he's super athletic too.
Very.
And he's built very similarly to Dwight Howard.
Mm-hmm.
He seems a little bit more mobile than Dwight Howard.
Yeah.
But that's just him being young too.
Well, yeah, I think I love the comparison to Dwight Howard. I think that's spot on. But I think, sometimes when Dwight Howard would make his move, it seemed a little awkward or almost like he wasn't real confident in what he was about to do. You don't see that from this dude, man. This dude is like, it's almost like he's looking a couple plays ahead and he's like, here's exactly what I'm going to do. Here's how I'm going to score, and I'm going to get fouled on top of it. He's got that confidence of when he moves that he has no doubt that he's
Dwight Howard.
Yeah. I mean, he's got kind of the mindset of Shaq of like, you're not going to stop me, but he's got the athleticism of a Dwight Howard.
Yeah. And that was the one thing with Dwight Howard. They were calling him Mini Shaq when he came out too.
Yep.
But
I remember that.
He didn't have that same killer that Shaq does.
Yeah. Shaq was just different, man. He was just unreal.
Yeah.
Shout out the late great Oliver Miller shutting him down and in Fayetteville.
At Barnhill Arena.
Yes, sir. So
go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that man, talk about a core memory. That was a good one.
My core memory of Razorback basketball is being in the room whenever we beat Oklahoma with Blake Griffin.
Oh, I remember that game. Yeah, I absolutely remember that.
I was in the nosebleeds, but I was there.
And then they turned around. That same team turned around like less than a week later and beat Kevin Durant in Texas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you had those two teams. That was like the last two non-conference games before you went into SEC play, and I'm pretty sure that was a Pelfrey year.
Yeah, I think so.
Because you get Blake Griffin and Oklahoma coming in, and both these teams were nationally ranked, so you beat two top 15 teams back to back. Honestly an Arkansas team that was not really that good overall. The Bud Walton Magic did its thing, and you got a couple of big wins there. So, all right. So we're getting ready to shut this thing down, man. What do you see as a key for Saturday, given all the wild card pieces that are going to come in? I mean, we don't even know if LSU is going to make it in or not. It depends on when they leave. I mean, I would not be surprised to see that they leave either today or maybe even tomorrow morning and try to get into town a little early.
Yeah, Fayetteville's always the worst part of the state. It gets all the worst part of the snow. So they have to They have to, I mean, abide by the weather patterns. But as far as the game's concerned, as long as we start seeing like motioning, because right after the Auburn game in that South Carolina game, you just saw like nobody was standing still. Nobody looked at the ball. Everybody was off doing their own thing. And then Georgia happened.
Yeah.
And then you come back with Vanderbilt and same thing. Nobody is standing around. Nobody is looking at the ball. You've got 10 people in motion on the court at one time. And it's just one of those things that we just have to see our guys moving. If our guys are motioning and cutting, NASCAR cut as
NASCAR cut, yeah.
Jimmy Dykes.
If you took a drink every time Jimmy Dykes said NASCAR cut, you may have died of alcohol poisoning.
You might have forgotten that Arkansas won that game. But as long as the team's moving, I assume that they're like our offense is really good if we can get into transition. And that's what everybody's going to try to start to stop us doing is getting into transition. You're going to start to see people start to give up on the offensive rebounds to get back on defense.
Yep, like Vanderbilt did. Yep.
Yeah. And shout out little Anthony Black wannabe. He did not have a good day at all at the office.
Yeah. He was, and he was ranked ahead of Darius Acuff on all the draft boards coming into that game. What was his name? Tyler Tanner. Yeah. Tyler Tanner got tanned on that backside because Darius Acuff just outplayed him all night long. So here's what I see needs to happen. Like we've done in every other home game, you come out, you don't rely solely on the 3-point shot. You do what we do best. You drive and kick, or you drive all the way to the hole, toss it up to somebody, let them slam it through. You cannot depend on that 3-point shot. And then once they start to sag off of you and try to clog up the lane where you can't drive, then that's when Malik Thomas, DJ Wagner, Brazil, Acuff start putting the threes up at that point. And somebody's going to get them to fall at that point, but you got to establish things with the drive early on. That has been a staple of Cal's teams all the way back to his days at UMass. They set it up. They set up their offense with the drive, and it's a dribble drive based offense. You either drive and kick, you drive and shoot the layup, or you drive and get fouled. I mean, that's what they've got to do.
Look what Shai Gilgeous-Alexander does on a daily basis. That's the prototypical Cal guard.
Absolutely. So, well, all right. We've filled our hour, and we're going to get out of here. DMad, appreciate you jumping on with me tonight. It is certainly a lot more fun when I have somebody to talk to other than talking to myself. So, Hogs, LSU, 7:30 Saturday night. You know what? We might try to look at some post game. I mean, if the Snowpocalypse comes in and I can't do anything else, as long as I still have power, I may come up here after the game and do a little post game. So we'll see. I'll be on the socials this weekend, and if I decide to do some post game after the LSU, I will definitely put it out on the socials. But if not, we'll be back next week for another edition of Inside the Hog Pen. Any final thoughts, DMad?
Just win, baby.
That's it. That's all there is to it, man. Just win. All right. For my boy DMad and the rest of the crew who couldn't be with us tonight, we'll see you guys next week. You've been watching Inside the Hog Pen.
Thanks for watching this episode of Inside the Hog Pen. Listen anytime on your favorite podcast provider, and be sure to follow us on all our social network channels.